Hi, welcome to the Louisa Project 2027, where we discuss education, innovation, and entrepreneurship. A little background on the show. Our daughter Louisa starts college in the fall of 2027, and we want to take this opportunity to try to improve educational access, and affordability before she gets there for everyone, okay? Because we want to offer a better world, really. Education can only help in that regard. I want to tell you a little bit about how the show works, and we'll go into a few other things real quick, and then you can go on and watch the actual show. We're going to be on the Benjamin Dixon channel once a week, but all the articles will be on our YouTube channel, Louisa Project 2027 YouTube channel. But please subscribe to the Benjamin Dixon channel, Benjamin Dixon Show channel, and the Louisa Project 2027. That helps everyone involved. Now about the show. Basically, there's 3 segments to each show. There's educational challenges, where we'll take a study or an article and discuss the challenges we face in the American education system, and we'll pick out things that perhaps where those areas where people can help, where the opportunities are, right? So the opportunities are getting over hurdles, closing gaps. These are the areas that we're going to concentrate on, and I'm going to throw out some ideas. Hopefully, you guys will throw some ideas back at me, and we'll solve some problems and get people more opportunity for an education. On the second segment, we'll discuss entrepreneurial and innovative skills. So we have an opportunity to help you build your skills so you can solve some of these problems that we talk about in the first segment. And in the third segment, we'll talk about small business tools, right? When you're just starting out a small business, you need all the help you can get. A lot of it is based on the Small Business Administration, SBA.gov. Great place, a lot of information, and 98% of it is free. Great situation to be in. Now, also go to progressivearmy.com. I did a series of articles called Entrepreneur Homework. Again, progressivearmy.com, Entrepreneur Homework. Go there, check those out. They'll also help you a lot. Also, we're going to interview writers, educators, innovators, entrepreneurs. If you're a startup, especially if you're in the world of grant writing, we really like to talk to you. So you can contact us at contact.louisaproject2027.org. Again, contact.louisaproject2027.org. It's very important for us. Volunteers are always needed and welcome. Again, we're a 2-man show, myself and my 14-year-old son. So please contact us on that same contact.louisaproject2027.org. That'll lead you to a form, and just fill it out and we'll be in touch. Now, you can reach us on YouTube. You can just look up Louisa Project 2027 on YouTube, Twitter, Skype. Our email address is louisaproject2027 at gmail.com. Again, louisaproject2027 at gmail.com. Just reach out. We follow the hashtag LP2027. Again, hashtag LP2027. That's a great way to reach out to us and get our attention. And finally, if you like what we're doing and we believe in what we're doing, please go to patreon.com and look up Louisa Project 2027. And please donate to us and become a patron. And hopefully it all works out for the better, and we improve our education system and make it the best in the world again. Thanks for your time. I hope you enjoy the show. Thanks for listening to my spiel, and have a great day or evening or weekend. Thank you.
One cell has begun, forgive the other one.
Welcome back to the Louisa Project 2027, where we discuss education, entrepreneurship, and innovation. Now, we're going to start off with an article from Inside Higher Ed. The article is entitled "Free College Political Support: A Survey of Community College Leaders." Now, the Gallup polled 220 community college leaders, presidents, and such. So, and I'm going to talk to you a little about the results of that. It's really, really interesting. I'm going to start off with in light of the current political climate, with Democrats and Republicans running for president in 2016. We've heard mostly from the Democratic side from Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton about debt-free or free college for our young people now, or for everyone. Now, the debt-free versus free, that's an argument for another day. Even me, as a progressive and a Bernie Sanders fan, I think it's imperative that we take a look at the entire scope of where we are, and this is part of that. Now, I want to start off with how they felt about the idea in general coming to fruition. Right, 37% say it's not even feasible within the next 5 years. It's kind of Debbie Downer, but it is what it is. This is what they think. I'm just conveying the message. I think otherwise, and I think the Louisa Project 2027 can help change their minds a little bit. The other side of that, also along those lines, 35% of them said it's never going to happen. It's a pipe dream. Now, I think free community college is feasible. I think 2 years of college is a feasible goal. Now, let's talk about political strategy a little bit, political and policy strategy a little bit. Now, let's talk specifically about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders said he wants to give a free 4-year college education for everyone, which I think is feasible, and I think we can afford it if we get our house in order. Now, along those lines, Bernie Sanders also understands that how the legislative process works. You never get 100% of what you ask for, right? So if I say I want 4 years of free college and I get 2, I've won, right? Because I've probably really planned for 2, right? I'm not telling you, I have no insight into the campaign. I have no insight into what Bernie Sanders is thinking. But if I'm asking for 4 and I know legislative process and how it works, if I get 2 out of it, I'm a happy man, right? So let's think about that as we go forward. Okay. A little something about the survey. As I said, they surveyed 220 different presidents from different community colleges across the country. Free community college is politically popular, which was popularized by the Obama administration, and to me, it just makes too much sense, right? When we decided that 12 years of school, free school, was the thing to do for the growth of our country. At that time, 12 years was more than enough. You could take that high school education and go have a career that would feed your family and help you buy a home, buy a car, and you could live a great life with that high school education. Unfortunately, those days are over. All right, when manufacturing left, those days died. Okay, so I personally think we can bring manufacturing back, but that's again a discussion for another day. But the thought of free community college education is again feasible, affordable, and it's relatively popular. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what else is in this article. 62% of college presidents like the idea of free college education, a free community college education, not just because it keeps them in a job, but it's a great idea because it helps us. It helps us build better communities. It helps us build better families. More educated families tend to stay together and tend to prosper on their own. Okay, even if you're a conservative and you feel that there's too many people on the dole, education is a great way to help them move forward and a bridge out of that situation. So let's think about that as we go forward. This is really nobody loses here in reality. Okay. Also, 61% of colleges agree with the proposals from Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton, debt free versus free. Again, a discussion for another day. But the vast majority of these community college presidents say, or leaders say, that hey, that's a great idea. Okay, but along those same lines, these presidents also think that the concentration on a 4-year degree or 4 years of college kind of leaves them in a lurch. But again, I think because of the way the political process works and you don't get 100% of what you ask for, I think starting off asking for 4 and getting 2 is where we're going to end up. So let's that again, that's political strategy for another day. David Bain, Senior Vice President for Government Relations and Policy Analysis for the American Association of Community Colleges. American Association of Community Colleges is the overarching organization that pretty much leads community colleges in the United States. The AACC, great organization. And if anybody from that organization sees this, or a community college sees this, or hears this podcast, please contact me. I would love to interview you and discuss how the role of community colleges. And if you're the president or someone from a particular community college, we would love to hear what you're doing to innovate and change things and make college more accessible and more affordable for everyone. Shameless plug. Again, David Bain, Senior Vice President for Government Relations and Policy Analysis for the American Association of Community Colleges. He sees, this is what he said. There's clearly tremendous work on promise type programs at the state and local levels, and I know overwhelming majority of our member presidents are aware of that, but there has not been significant activity in Washington outside of the proposal itself and the introduction of 2 bills. So what he's saying is, yeah, it's a lot of talk outside of the promise and 2 bills that were presented in the Congress. Not a lot is happening, but states like Tennessee and Oregon are leading the way. Tennessee is already doing free community college just north of here. They're doing free community college, and of course the benefits are not going to happen overnight. But the fact that more people can can access higher education is an amazing thing. Okay. A plurality of 2-year college presidents, 43%, doubt that any future president will place any emphasis on community colleges as President Obama has done. Now, again, the asking for 4 and getting 2, I think that's where we're going to end up. I understand their point of view. They want to get themselves back on the radar and saying, okay, our 2-year colleges are still here. Don't forget about us if this thing fails. If 4 years, if we're going to talk about 4 years, hey, don't forget 2 is available too, which, kind of feeds into what I'm saying. Okay. Also, one of the things that they're facing is declining enrollment. Of course, it's going to vary from state to state, from community college to community college, why enrollment is declining. Most say it's because unemployment is going down. Because unemployment is going down, people don't have time to go to school. Okay, and that makes sense. I haven't seen a poll in what the real answer is, but that does make sense. But here we like to talk about the challenges here, the Louisa Project 2027, and I think we have a great challenge for the entrepreneurs and innovators in this audience. And let's talk about that in the future. All right. In Boston, Bunker Hill Community College President Pam Ettinger sees a different reason for her college's 2% decrease in students. All right. What she sees, and I quote, "Our limitation has been our ability to configure our schedule to fit the life demands of our non-traditional students." That's the challenge, right? She says that they can't find a way to fit their college into the life demands of their non-traditional students, which most students now in America are non-traditional students. So it's important that we try to fit those ways. That's where the challenge is, right? If you can find a way, okay, we do online class and such. If you can find a way to say, hey, okay, I have an idea to meet this challenge and beat this, you can win. So that's your challenge, innovators and innovators and entrepreneurs. Okay. She went on to say, if we had the flexibility and capacity in space during the times we needed it, and when our working students demand it, we would likely be experiencing growth and no decline at all. She works on a campus built for 8,000. It's currently serving 14,000. So if you can find a way to help her flex her campus based on her needs, you can win, right? So innovators, entrepreneurs, that's what you need to think about. Okay. Now we're going to talk about graduation rates. Now, graduation rates for community colleges are kind of funny, right? If you're a community college and you want your graduation rates to be 100%, it's probably unlikely because most people go to community college either for a certificate, which should be part of the graduation rates. Again, that's something that's in the works now. But if we're looking for, if the goal is a 2-year degree at the end of your community college career, and that's your attainment level, it's kind of hard to get 100% because most people get those 60 to whatever credits and move on to either go on to their career or go on to a 4-year college, and that's something you need to keep in mind. Now, most community college presidents are looking at 41 to 47% graduation rate, which seems to be reasonable for a community college, which is okay. I'll let them decide that, right? We'd like to have 100%, but we don't know how feasible that really is. But it's good to see that they're setting goals, and without goals, you really don't get anywhere. So they deserve applause for setting these goals. Now, again, we've had this discussion. We talked about this a little bit. Now let's talk about a little bit about facing these challenges, right? If we don't face these challenges, we just can't win, right? So we talked about the challenge of fitting college into the schedule demands of students, and we talked about what was the other piece? Being able to flex the campus, right? If I have a campus built for 8,000 and I'm serving 14,000, and it flexes between 8 and 14,000 based on the job market, based on demand, you have to be able to be a little more flexible, right? And the flexibility has to be cost effective, otherwise it's not going to happen. So if you could think of things along those lines, you can win the fight. Okay, so let's have a discussion. Our hashtag is #LP2027. Again, LP2027. Just give us a shout and let us know what you think about this particular subject. All right. So we've seen we've talked a little bit about the political climate. We talked about how college presidents see the challenge of free college or free community college, and how they see their place in it or their role in it. We've also talked about what some of the challenges are from Bunker Hill Community College, and I'm sure a lot of colleges are like that. Again, if you're from a community college, please give us a shout, and we'll discuss it a little bit here on Louisa Project 2027. So let's think about that. Just contact me. Or contact me on Twitter. It's at Mike_Redwine. Mike_Redwine. Just give me a shout. Let me know what you think. Thank you.
Hey, let's take a short break. If you enjoy smart, progressive commentary, go to the Benjamin Dixon Show channel Monday through Thursday. On Mondays, you have the Benjamin Dixon Show starting at 9 o'clock. On Tuesdays, you have The Way with Noah starting at 8 and Ben again at 9. On Wednesdays, the Benjamin Dixon Show starts at 9 o'clock. On Thursdays at 8, it's the Scandinavian Perspective with Ms. Peterson. Then Ben starts again at 9 o'clock. Please tune in to the Benjamin Dixon Show channel on YouTube and subscribe. Okay, let's get back to work.
Okay, in today's show, we're going to do something a little different, and we're going to do this from time to time. I interview people in the world of education and in different worlds, and see how those worlds intersect with education, entrepreneurship, and innovation. And I'm going to play a segment of the interview here. Please excuse the video quality because here bandwidth in northern Alabama is not that great, at least not in my neighborhood. I'm not going to blame that on Alabama. So I'm going to let you listen to, let you watch a small part of a interview with Jennifer Louise Ogden. We talked about a garden for every school. a thesis she did for her master's, and it's a brilliant idea, and it's something that's being implemented all across the country, not from her master's thesis, but it's being implemented across the country, and she has some very novel spins on how to get that accomplished. So just take a listen. Go to our Spreaker page or the Louisa 2027 YouTube page to watch the entire low quality video, or listen to the podcast from our Spreaker page. Just look up Jennifer Louise Ogden. You'll see it right there. It was a great interview. She's a really fun person. She's part of the Progressive Army, as I am. Really great interview. So just take a listen to this segment, and I hope you'll check it out later. Thank you.
Fresh food component grown right there on campus.
Brilliant.
I mean, it's not like going, let's add 2 positions. No, let's ask our local horticultural people to talk to our kids' lunch people.
Okay. All right. Or let's say, well, we'll get into it later, but perhaps an entrepreneur who could marry the two and oversee the whole thing, right? That's something that may perhaps could happen in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I am working on an app that has to do with that, and it's an educational tool that could be applied not just to schools and in counties and in that such, but your local home gardener. And without going into details, because I don't want to.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I want a coder to help me with it, but I got to protect my idea.
Absolutely protect your idea.
Everything that I have seen so far available does not compare to what I have created. And I created it for a master's class, and my professor says this has to go to market. Mm-hmm. So I need to figure out a way to get it there. But my most important aspect of it is how it would help the educational institution.
Okay, so let's stop there. Okay, so Louise, I'm sorry, Jennifer needs a coder. Okay, so yes. if she has the idea, she has it laid out. She needs somebody to help her code it. Okay, so now something we're going to get into later within the Louisa project is we're going to talk about sweat equity investments. We're going to talk about sweat equity partnerships, like for instance. For most people, paying someone to do a lot of things, or paying a group of people, or paying consultants is just not feasible, right? And that freezes a lot of entrepreneurship and innovation in this country. So
it does.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
Does. It cuts us off.
Absolutely, and that's the difference between the kid who went to Harvard and mom and dad paid for all the best schools and they paid for his college and they gave him $1 million loan. We're not going to mention any names. That's a foundation. Exactly. It's capital.
Hey, let's take a short break. If you enjoy smart, progressive commentary, go to the Benjamin Dixon Show channel Monday through Thursday. On Mondays, you have the Benjamin Dixon Show starting at 9 o'clock. On Tuesdays, you have The Way with a Noah starting at 8 and Ben again at 9. On Wednesdays, the Benjamin Dixon Show starts at 9 o'clock. On Thursdays at 8, it's the Scandinavian Perspective with Ms. Peterson. Then Ben starts again at 9 o'clock. Please tune in to the Benjamin Dixon Show channel on YouTube and subscribe. Okay, let's get back to work.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Jennifer Louise Ogden. It was a great interview. It was a lot of fun. I guess you heard that in the interview. All right, so let's move on to this final segment, which is our tools segment, the tools you need to become an effective entrepreneur. Last time we talked about the Small Business Administration, SBA.gov. We talked about the great things that are available on that site. You got training, information, videos, everything, a lot of things that you need to if you're just starting out in business, right? Get that idea working, right? We also, another one of the big tools is entrepreneur homework. Go to progressivearmy.com and look up entrepreneur homework. So a series of articles I wrote on various things that you need. The key one being protecting your idea if you're one of those innovative people. Okay. So right now we're going to go over a list of 20 questions. All right. This is 20 questions you need to ask yourself before you decide to put a penny or a minute into starting a business. Okay. So make sure you ask yourself these questions. Some of them are self-explanatory. Some of them I'm going to go into a little, give you some things to think about. I'll give a little more, little more in depth in them, and let's work from there. Okay, let's get started. Number one, why am I starting a business? Do I want to be rich? Do I just hate my job? Is this a calling? Is this like helping with education is a calling for me, right? That's my area of entrepreneurship along with martial arts, right? So are these things that I really, really want to do, if they're my passion and I really love doing them and I can help people doing it? You can find out what your calling is, right? That's why you're starting a business, right? There's a lot of reasons to start a business. Maybe you just, for a lot of people, you don't believe there's anything out there for you. You know, you don't want to do what everybody else is doing. And there's something to be said for that, okay? The next thing is, what kind of business do I want? Do I want to be in food service? I spend a lot of time in food service. Do I want to work in a warehouse? A lot of time there. Do I want to work in a cubicle? Do I want to travel the world? You got to understand yourself. This is an in-depth question. You need to look in the mirror and understand very closely, have a very good understanding of what is important to you. Okay. Again, that's question number 2. What kind of business do I want? Number 3, who is my ideal customer? Don't start a business unless you have a customer base. Right? In the education business, most of your customers are going to be in the K-12 market. That's where most of the customers are. Whether that be elementary, whether it be junior high, whether that be kindergarten, and then on to the adult side, there's huge market in the adult education world. Okay, so understand your market, who you're serving, and how you plan to serve them. Okay, what product or service will my business provide? Or what product? Is it a widget? Is it an idea? What are you providing to your customer? So you have to have a clear idea what your idea does. Now, a lot of ideas have several applications, so you need to think about that, especially when you start talking about protecting your idea. You need to think about all the applications for that project, okay, for that particular, for your particular product or service, all right? So that's something you need to think about very, very deeply, okay? Am I prepared to spend time and money needed to get my business started? Being an entrepreneur is a hard slog, okay? It is a hard slog. So you have to have a plan. You have to have an idea of what you want, and you have to understand the time and money it takes to get there. There's a lot of things that you can only do yourself, and a lot of things you should only do yourself. And you need to understand, if you don't have a lot of money, it's going to be even harder. So you need to have a plan to save money. All right. So you skip lunch 3 times a week as opposed to going to the food stand, all right, or going to McDonald's. All right. Put that money aside. So you need to have a good idea of what that's going to cost, so you can put money aside. Okay. What differentiates my business idea and the products and services I will provide from others in the market? Is your idea or product or service, is it something that's not already out there, or do you have a spin on something that's already out there? I talked to Jennifer Louise Ogden. She has an app she's working on. As you heard in the last segment, she has an app that she's working on that she wants a lot of help on. So she needs a coder to help her with it. But it's a spin on other apps, right? She comes from a different angle, right? So you need to think about what makes you and your organization, your business different. Okay, very, very important. Where will my business be located? Are you going to be online? Are you going to have a bricks and mortar operation in your neighborhood? Are you going to work out of your house? Is it something you can do over the phone? Sometimes consultants can work online or over the phone. If that's the kind of business you're going to go into. Do you need a factory? Do you need a restaurant? So you need to think long and hard about where it's going to be located. If it's a restaurant, you need to be located somewhere where people are going to come. You can't open a restaurant in the middle of nowhere, right? Unless you have one of those fancy exclusive restaurants, and a lot of people are going to come because it's fancy schmancy. But you got to know a lot of people would have fancy schmancy money in order to make that happen. Discussion for another day. Okay. How many employees will I need? Are you a one-man show or one-person show? Sorry, lady. Will you need 5 employees? Will you need 100 employees? Do you have a plan to build from 5 employees to 100 employees over the next 3 to 5 years? All right. So you need to know far out what kind of employees you're going to need. So if you don't need any employees in the beginning, and any employees in the beginning, and most entrepreneurs or one-man operations don't really need any employees in the beginning. It's you, probably a friend and a family member, if not just you by yourself. Okay, so think long and hard about that, because there's a lot of steps you need to take to be an employer. You need an EIN, Social Security, FICA, all that good stuff. So something RAP rates. There's a lot of things you need to consider. All right, if you're going to need employees. What type of suppliers do I need, right? So if I'm opening a restaurant, I need to get my food from somewhere. I can't just, I can't go to Whole Foods or Walmart or Kroger's or whatever it is, Publix, whatever it is, or A&P, growing up in New Jersey, A&P. Whatever it is, you need to understand, or the Piggly Wiggly. You need to understand how you're going to get those supplies in, how you're going to, what supplies you need. Are those supplies, is there a long lead time for those supplies? Do I need to order those supplies way out? For instance, if I'm building a factory and this particular machinery I need, is that immediately available, or is there a lead time? Because a lot of times these huge machines are made on demand, and it takes time to build those machines. So these are things you need to think about. All right. How much money do I need to get started? And honestly, a lot of times this is a mystery, right? There's some basic stuff, like, for instance, if you want to open a martial arts school outside of your garage or outside of your home, how much money are you going to need to rent a facility, right? Are you going to rent from the local, from a gym that's already there, right? So if you want to rent time from the city, right? How much is it going to cost you to rent time in that city facility, that city gym, right? When will that space be available? How much is that going to cost? Are you going to build a new facility? How much is that going to cost, right? That's a lot of risk. So you need to have an idea what it's going to cost. Will I need to get a loan? This is a big one, right? There's angel investors out there. There's grants out there, especially in the world of education. If you've got a good idea and you're a nonprofit or a public benefit organization, there's a lot of grants out there for you that you don't have to pay back, which is big, right? But if you're going to need a loan to get there, you're going to have to do a lot of work to get to the point where you can get a loan. And that's, again, a discussion for another day. How soon will it take before my products or services are available, right? So if you're building something that takes a team of engineers, if you've got an idea and it's going to take a team of engineers to build that widget, you got to get those engineers in place. Then they've got to make sure the design is right. They've got to build a prototype, and then they got to put that prototype into production. You got to make sure all the supplies are there, all the commodities are available for that to get that thing into production. Right? If you need steel, where's that steel going to come from? Is it the right tensile? Are you getting what you need for your widget? Okay, so something to think about. And how long will it take to make it happen? If you're building an app and you know a coder who can build that app for you, you're done in an hour. You're done in a couple of days or a couple of weeks or a couple of months, depending on how long the development cycle is, right? So it's something to think about. Next question. This is question number 13. How long do I have until I start making profit? The break-even point, right? So you're going to put a lot of money, whether it's a loan, whether it's your lunch money, whatever the case may be, you're going to put a lot of time and energy into this. And you need to have a clear idea when you're going to break even and you're really seeing profits, right? You can still owe and get some profits coming in, but you need to know where that mark is too. But the break even point where you paid these, you got to the point where you paid these loans off, or you've targeted a time when those loans are going to be paid off, or whatever the case may be, or you're paying angel investors, or you're paying you're paying investors their share, right? You need to know when you're going to be profitable, right? And that's important to know when you're going to get a loan, right? So if I say in 3 to 5 years I want to be able to turn a profit, all right, I need to be able to say that. I need to be able to show that on paper, okay? A lot of it is notional. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't need to be known. It Nobody's going to hold your feet to the fire if it takes 6 years instead of 5, right? As long as you're moving forward. So something to think about. Who is my competition? Man, if I decide, you know what, I can build a better computer than Microsoft, don't do it. Unless you have a ton of capital and a ton of people supporting you, don't do it. Because that competition will destroy you, right? You will be in your garage wondering what happened, right? So sometimes there's market, Microsoft and Apple, they have these markets locked in for a reason. I've got a better software than Microsoft Word. You may have, right? Give it a shot. That's not going to hurt you too bad, building that software. But if you're going to actually build a nuts and bolts computer, and you got all these companies out there doing it, and you want to do it from your garage, it's going to be, let me take that back. I don't want you to not try, but it's going to be hard. Okay? Something to keep in mind. How will I price my product compared to the competition? Now, you've already looked at the competition. Say it costs for HP makes laptops. I think I can build a smarter laptop, a better laptop. But because I'm a small operation and I don't get I don't get to the scale I don't get the benefits of the scale that the HP is building on, and I'm not building overseas, so I don't have cheap labor. So this is what I'm facing. It's going to take me $10,000 per laptop to build these laptops that I've got in my head. All right. So now I've got these $10,000 laptops. Who's going to buy a $10,000 laptop when you can buy it for $500? Right. So that's something you need to think about. Right. So what is your price point? Right. And you have to be able to make a profit. You got to cover all kinds of stuff. Right. So just think about that. Number 16, we're almost done. How will I set up legal structure of my business? Right? Am I going to be a nonprofit? And am I going to be a public benefit organization? What's going to be the legal structure of my organization? Right? That's a very, very important question. Am I going to be an LLC? Am I going to be incorporated? And each one of these has a different tax structure. Are you a pass through? Is it going to be all taxed on your social security number? Is it going to be taxed on an employer's identification number? These are things you need to think about, and they can come back and bite you. They will come back and bite you. So think about your business structure. 17, along those lines, what taxes do I need to pay? Right? Is there a franchise tax in the state? Business licenses, it's not considered a tax, but you understand what I'm saying. What is your federal tax going to look like? What's your state tax going to look like? What is your county or city tax going to look like? A lot of cities, a city like New York, you're going to have to pay to get into that market, you know. And in the United States, this is the richest market in the world. You got to pay to be in this market. This is not free, all right? Because it takes a lot of things to build this market: infrastructure, internet. The list goes on and on. Okay. On to question number 18. What kind of insurance do I need? Again, in the martial arts world, I need insurance. I need basic liability insurance, right? And there's other types of insurance within that. So you need to think long and hard about that, right? In my other endeavors, there's different types of insurance. Talk to an insurance professional. Sometimes at SBA.gov, they'll talk to SBA and they'll let you know what kind of insurance you need. Sometimes it's just basic liability insurance. All right. Sometimes in states where it's hard to sue people, like in the state of Alabama, sometimes your form of insurance can be, especially in the beginning, when you don't have a lot of money to pay insurance. I don't do it, but you have an agreement with someone to say, okay, hold harmless, called hold harmless. Listen, we're going to do this, and here's this document. You can't sue me because something goes wrong. All right. Now, there's still some responsibility that you hold, right? If you do something stupid, you don't get free of it if you're negligent, right? So I'm not a lawyer. Talk to a lawyer about that. Talk to your local SBA. Talk to a consultant about that. How will I manage my business? Am I going to work my regular job and have another manager do it? right? Am I going to work my job and my wife is going to actually manage the business? Or am I going to manage the day-to-day? Is it going to be something that, okay, I can manage it after work online? You need to understand how you're going to manage your day-to-day business, right? How are your finances going to be managed? Are you going to do it yourself, or are you going to have a financial manager? Um, um, all kinds of stuff. How you're going to handle training. Are you going to do all the training for your people in your business? Or are you going to hire a company to do the training? All this comes under management, and you need to think about that. That was number 19. Number 20, how will I advertise my business? Now, you just can't send out a bunch of tweets and think you're going to get customers come running to your door. God, I wish it worked like that, but it does not. Okay, so you have to understand about, and we're going to do a piece on that in the future. How will I advertise my business? Is it going to be strictly social media? Do I have the funds and the know-how to get it on local television? Am I going to do, advertising on YouTube? So there's a lot of options, and you need to take a good look at what the options are and what your bank account will allow and what's going to be effective for your type of business. All right. For instance, if I have a product for law enforcement, right? If I have this pen is also it also sprays mace, right? Some sort of chemical deterrent, right? I'm not going to advertise this in a magazine for a fashion magazine. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to find law enforcement magazines to advertise this law enforcement pen, the pepper spray pen, whatever we're going to call it, right? So you need to be very aware of who again, that goes back to question number 3. Who is my ideal customer? You need to understand who your customer is and where they're going to see your advertising and how they interact with advertising. That's another important piece, all right? So these are some of the things you need to think about. That was question number 20. So I'm going to wrap up for this show. Again, my name is Michael Redwine. You can reach me on Twitter at Mike_Redwine at Twitter. On Twitter, you can also reach me through the Louisa Project, Louisa Project 2027 on Twitter. If you want to get my attention, we monitor the hashtag LP2027 if you want to get our attention. Again, hashtag LP2027. That's our hashtag. We monitor that. If you want to get our attention, let us know, or just DM me or direct tweet me. Always keep in mind, if you're a community college or a university, a high school, elementary school, if you want to just talk about education, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an innovator, if you're just somebody who just happened to put across our podcast or our YouTube show, give us a call and let me know what you want to talk about. If it helps with education in this country, I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to talk right now. All right. So that's it for this show. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, great day, great weekend, whatever you're going into. So long.
Oneself has begun.